getting married tomorrow. I mean, you know, it's obviously not going to be exactly what you'd planned. You had been planning your wedding for 2 years, hadn't you? I know you were going to have over 100 people there. It's going to feel very different tomorrow, isn't it? How are you feeling about the fact that it's not quite going to be what you've planned?
We're really excited. We just can't wait to go ahead. So we've been planning it today over 2 years. So yeah, we really wanted to go ahead, and whether it had been 5 people, but we are absolutely delighted that we are actually going to be able to have the 25 guests.
So you're making the most of it. Richard, what sort of things won't you be able to do that you would have liked to have done? You know, the reception, for example. How is it going to feel different?
Yeah, the reception is one thing, but we can't have things like the bells and the singing in the church. But you can have a party anytime, but you get married, and that's the most important thing to us. So we're looking forward to that. But that's it, really.
I know that you've had to rehearse quite extensively, haven't you, with the use of a big stick to ensure that the social distancing will be correct for all of your guests.
Yeah, it was quite a long. It was a 3-hour rehearsal on Saturday, so it was very amusing. Yeah, we had one of those big rulers they used to have at school, where we were measuring out 2 meters, and everybody now has to sit as if they're in a theatre with the allocated seat. That everyone's had their allocated seat that they've been sent to them, so they know where to sit. And then there'll be big A4 pieces of paper with their name on, and we'll have, you know, hand sanitizer at the door. Everybody will be given a hand sanitizer. So, yeah, it was quite amusing though on Saturday, just trying to work out exactly how everyone's going to move around each other. My father said he'd never been to a rehearsal quite like it.
Oh, but luckily he can walk you down the aisle, because of course for a lot of brides getting married at the moment, that's not the case, but he is in a bubble with you, so is actually able to.
Yeah, so we're really delighted with that. So that guidance obviously came out this week. So we've already done that. I suppose the only issue is going to be the dress and the width of the aisle with my dad. So yes, that'll be another interesting challenge that we'll be facing tomorrow.
Is that a little insight into the dress? Is it a bit of a meringue, Sarah? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't like to say anything, but yeah, there's a little bit of a clue there. So yeah, it'll be definitely a big white wedding.
Fabulous.
So might as well, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Richard, I wonder if because you ran this close, didn't you? Because, of course, the wedding is tomorrow. They've only just decided, you know, a week or so ago that this was going to be allowed. At any point over the last 3-4 months, have the two of you talked about delaying it and just saying, look, do you know what, let's do it next year, because hopefully we'll be able to do it as we want to do it?
No, for us, our wedding day was always planned to be the 4th of July, so we were just holding on. And at the beginning of lockdown, we knew that, according to what Boris said, that it would have opened up on the 4th of July. So we were just holding on for that government notification that we could go ahead. And so we were just planning. We were telling everyone, no, we're still going to go ahead with it, whether it was 5 people or more. We were still definitely going to go ahead. We didn't want to put it off for a month or a year, because we've been planning it for so long.
Well, it's going to be a very special day nonetheless. Talking about being keen to be there just when it all happens, we're going to go to a hair salon now. Of course, Deborah Adamson is there. I wonder, sort of, you're opening at midnight, the strike of midnight. You're going to get your first client through the door. Is this why particularly are you going to do it then and there? Is that just because she's so desperate to have her hair cut?
She is desperate. Hi, Ben, and by the way, she is desperate, but she hasn't had her hair done for 5 months. And she did try to get in online, but I didn't have any appointments for 5 weeks. So I did say, Karen, do you know what? I've done your hair for that many years. I'll open at midnight and I'll do your hair at midnight, because she's been a very loyal client to me.
And is that her over your shoulder there behind you?
It is. That's Karen there, yes.
And so she's keeping her hair far out of shot, so we can't see just how much it needs a bit of a trim. How has it been for you, though, Deborah, and how has the whole process been, and how excited are you to finally get your clients back in? Because I know that you've set yourself an extraordinary schedule over the next 5 weeks, haven't you?
I have. I'm very excited to get back to work. I've missed work. I've getting used to not being into work, but I've still been liaising with my clients on social media. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be hard for Caitlin and myself having to wear all this outfit. And obviously, with it being the summer months, it's going to be.
Oh, I think
we just lost the link. What Deborah was going to say, though, she's actually planned to work 7 days a week for the next 5 weeks in order to clear
long days as well to be able to get through everybody. So, I mean, you know, well done to her, because there are a lot of people, aren't they, that are queuing up waiting to get their hair. We'll see if we can re-establish the connection with her. But in the meantime, let's go to Simon Calder, who is joining us from a hotel in Londonderry, reopening from today.
We saw you take off, obviously.
Good
saw you take off yesterday
Simon.
morning. You landed safely. How was the experience, Simon? How was it going through at the airport and then getting to the hotel you're at?
It's a little bit strange, but look, everybody is getting used to it. And the great thing was that, of course, I could get to Northern Ireland. And then, because I was approaching Ireland, the Republic, from Northern Ireland, there was no quarantine in place for me, which meant I could, while I was waiting to check into the hotel on the 3rd of July, I could actually go and drink some beer in a pub with real people in it. It was quite extraordinary because, of course, only 3 miles from here, you've got the border. Right over the other side, well, my goodness me, the pubs were packed. It was very exciting, in a socially distant sort of way, I should add. But then I got back from that and just sort of checking in when suddenly the news came through that everything has changed on Planet Travel once again. So from tomorrow, the Foreign Office advice against going to Ireland and a number of other countries will change. And then from next Friday, if you're coming back into England from a whole load of countries, you won't need to quarantine for 14 days anymore. But for Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, the current rules still apply. It is absolutely boggling, but the basically good news is that Holiday 2020 can begin for people who want to go abroad.
Yeah, and Simon, do you know, I mean, we're waiting to hear, aren't we, exactly which countries are going to be involved in these restrictions, these quarantine restrictions being lifted? How widespread do you expect that to be?
Well, we are still playing lockdown destination bingo, frankly. I can tell you some of the countries, so we know because the government has said France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Spain. Greece, of course, won't allow any direct flights from the UK till the 15th of July anyway. Then Grant Shapps, the Transport Secretary, has let it be known this morning that New Zealand, which we can't go to either, as well as the Vatican City, the Falklands Islands and plucky Gibraltar are also on the list where it's OK to go. Now, this is all based on the trajectory and indeed the rate of infection. And basically, looking at all the European countries, I think almost everywhere in the European Union, including Portugal will be cleared. Sweden won't. I'm very optimistic that Turkey will be, but I fear that the North African countries of Morocco, Egypt and Tunisia will not. And the United States is most certainly not getting on the list, and neither is Mexico.
And what would your advice be, Simon? You know, should people, if they do want to go abroad, be booking up now? Should they wait for confirmation?
Well, look, if you're going to any of the aforementioned countries, then you can book fairly confidently if you are in England. Bizarrely, though, of course, if let's say Portugal makes the list for England, and that's all right, you can fly back from next Friday onwards to Newcastle. But if it doesn't make the list for Scotland, then people who fly into Edinburgh at the same time are going to have to go home and self-isolate for 2 weeks. It is absolutely boggling. One really important thing that Grant Shapps, the Transport Secretary, has revealed in the past half hour is that anybody who's begun their quarantine but has come back from a country which is on the list will be able to stop self-isolating at midnight on the 10th of July, which is good news for people who were kind of hoping it was going to be lifted rather earlier than that. So we know a bit more, but we're not going to know the actual list until this afternoon. So I'm afraid until then, it is just make your guesses. If you do want to book a holiday, always best to talk to an excellent travel agent.